Hello and welcome. Tonight, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa says there is no plan to establish any foreign military base in Nigeria now or in the future. Still talking security, Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa says the military will investigate the airstrikes on some Sokoto communities. We continue with our review of the year 2024. Tonight, we take a look at how the presidency has impacted the lives of the citizens. And head of World Health Organization Tedros Ghebreyesus says he was at a Yemeni airport when it was hit by Israeli airstrikes.
On business news,
Fulham stage a late comeback to stun Chelsea, securing their first win at Stamford Bridge in 45 years.
The federal government will not allow any foreign group to use its soil to attack neighboring countries. He made the statement during a visit to troops involved in the Northwest Operation Fansanyama in Sokoto State. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, and the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, are assuring officers involved in the Northeast Joint Task Force operations Hadinkai of their commitment to the welfare of the troops. The service chiefs gave the assurance during a luncheon with the officers in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, arrives the main Malari barracks in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, for a lunch with troops of the Northeast Operation Hadinkai. He leads other senior officers for the traditional Christmas luncheon as he serves the troops, including those injured during operations in the region. They are joined by family members and well-wishers to commemorate the season and to offer them commitment to the welfare of the troops.
This occasion, which is knowing all major festive visits, helps to bring us together in a celebratory mood, to appreciate sacrifices and a new sense of duty to our dear country, Nigeria.
The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, was also at the Air Force Base in Maiduguri, where he acknowledged the efforts of the troops in the counter-insurgency operations.
You have been a significant support system to the ground forces as well as other security agencies. Your efforts in the face of danger and hardship ensure that peace has a fighting chance to return to this region once again.
Besides the food, the soldiers were also entertained by traditional dances. In Sokoto, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, is felicitating with the troops. General Musa visited troops that are receiving treatment at the military hospital Jiginya Cantonment 8th Division. He used the opportunity to issue warning to groups causing insecurity in the region.
The border communities also should take it as a point not to allow their areas to be used. Sometimes they use smugglers. Smugglers come in and give you peanuts and tell you, no, just allow it. They are carrying weapons into our country. And those are the things aggravating our own challenges. So we must all not allow anybody use our soil. And we will not allow any of our soil be used against any of our neighboring countries.
Meanwhile, troops of the Northwest Operation in Zamfara State also participated in the Christmas lunch in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. A statement from the coordinator, Joint Media Coordination Center, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi, states that the theater commander, Major General Oluyinka Shuele, led other senior officers to feed the troops. The statement adds that the event affords the theater commander the opportunity to reflect on the operations as he encourages troops to renew their vigor and commitment for the coming year.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff has insisted that there is no mistake in the military airstrikes targeted at the members of the Lakurawa terrorist group in Sokoto on Wednesday, which claimed 10 lives. General Christopher Musa stated this while addressing journalists during his visit to the Gingia cantonment in Sokoto State. He, however, states that an investigation will be launched into the incident following claims that the attacks claimed the lives of some villagers.
Governor Ahmad Aliyu of Sokoto State, in the company of other state officials, the senator representing Sokoto North Senatorial District, Senator Aliyu Wamako, and the Minister of Labor and Employment, Mr. Mohammed Dinyadi, are on an inspection tour of communities affected by the latest military airstrike in the state. The impact destroyed houses, farmlands, and animals. Some of the relatives of the victims carried the remains of their loved ones for burial. Governor Aliyu, who made some donations to the affected families, calls for a thorough investigation.
As a government, one will take the full responsibility of those in the hospital. The medical bill. Yeah. And secondly, the government and the relevant agencies, I think, have to sit down to conduct a thorough investigation on the incident so that we can prevent at least the future occurrence of such.
The governor joins other dignitaries to offer prayers at the funeral for the victims. A statement from the state government had claimed that 10 persons died in the incident and several others were injured. However, the Chief of Defense Staff, who is in the state, explains that the military did all that is necessary to avoid mistake in the operation, promising to carry out a comprehensive investigation.
We have individuals that still harbor those people. And then once you do that, you make yourself a legitimate target. And our appeal is please do not allow them hang around you. Do not give them any support in whatever means. Because once you do that, you make yourself a legitimate target. The incident that happened yesterday were things, it was an operation we conducted, we followed up and ensured that we avoided mistakes as much as possible. If there were other mistakes that came up, we're going to investigate and see. But I can tell you from what we have seen, because we have the videos, the BDAs of everything that happened, there were criminals in that place. Anybody that tried with them was part of them.
The defense chief maintains that the military will not spare anyone hiding criminals during its operations across the country.
The federal government has strongly rejected allegations made in a viral video by the military leader of Niger Republic, General Abdurrahmane Chiani, claiming a collusion between Nigeria and France to destabilize his country. In a statement signed by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, the claims exist solely in the realm of imagination, as Nigeria has never engaged in any overt or covert alliance with France or any other country to sponsor terrorist attacks or destabilize the Niger Republic in the wake of the undemocratic change in the leadership of that country. The minister explained that President Bola Tinubu, as chairman of ECOWAS, has demonstrated exemplary leadership, keeping the doors of the sub-regional body open to re-engage in Niger Republic despite the political situation in the country, adding that Nigeria remains committed to fostering peace, harmony and historic diplomatic ties with Niger. Mr. Idris highlighted that Nigeria's armed forces, in collaboration with partners in the multinational joint task force, are succeeding in curbing terrorism within the region. He therefore says it is absurd to suggest that Nigeria would conspire with any foreign power to undermine the peace and security of a neighboring country. He noted that the claims about the alleged establishment of a so-called Lakurawa terrorist headquarters in Sokoto State, purportedly orchestrated by Nigeria in collaboration with France, are baseless, and Nigeria has been a regional leader in combating terrorism, dedicating significant resources and lives to ensure stability in the Lake Chad Basin and beyond. Still on security, gunmen suspected to be armed herdsmen have again attacked some communities of Mievia in Kwande local government area of Benue State and reportedly killed no fewer than 11 and injured several others. Information on the attack from local sources say the incident took place on Wednesday when the people were busy celebrating Christmas with their families. A local source who prefers not to be named told our correspondent via telephone that they received a distress message that Nyevia was under attack. While the killing was going on in Se Azege community, another resident also said that an attack was also ongoing in Ituluv in Nyevia community. The President General of Mzo UTIV Worldwide, CP Yobe Iag, retired, who hails from Kwande local government, said he contacted the community head in the area who confirmed the attack, saying that several people were killed on Christmas Day and the attack was unprovoked. Our checks with the police public relations officer in Benue State Command, SP Sewese Anene, to confirm the killings in both Katsinala and Kwande local government areas has yielded no results, as she says there is no information on the subject matter before her. In continuation of our review of the year 2024, tonight our attention shifts to the presidency. Our State House correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, in this next report, looks at some key steps taken by the president in the area of governance.
Dear compatriots,
the year 2024 started with President Bola Tinubu's New Year broadcast, where he laid out his blueprint for the new year.
The task of building a better nation.
The president made several promises in the broadcast as he acknowledged the challenging times Nigerians had endured in the previous year.
Dear compatriots, take this from me. The time may be rough and tough. However, our spirit must remain unbowed because tough times never last. Our situation should make us resolve that this new year 2024, each and every one of us will commit to be better citizens.
One key issue addressed in the year is the new minimum wage. It came after a strike and prolonged negotiations.
The new national minimum wage that we expect Mr. President to submit to the National Assembly for legislation is 70,000 naira. But that is not all. There is also a deepening of the investment of the federal government in renewable energy.
We are taking this with mixed feeling because of the situation of the economy. But we have to move ahead.
Corruption.
It is one of the steps the president believes will help address the issue of corruption in the country.
Pay them good living wages. I have moved from 35,000 to 70,000. To me, that's anti-corruption.
In a bid to enhance governance at the local government level, the President Tinubu administration got a Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to the 774 local government areas in Nigeria.
I call it local government emancipation judgment because it has really emancipated the local government from, the shackles of the past.
The president also reshuffled his cabinet, sacked some ministers, and appointed new ones within the year.
The president has approved the immediate implementation of 8 far-reaching actions to reinvigorate the administration's capacity for optimal efficiency, pursuant of its commitment to deliver on its promises to Nigerians. The president said, asked all the appointees to understand that the administration is eager and determined to set Nigeria on the path of irreversible growth and invest the best of their abilities into the actualization of government's priorities.
As Nigerians contend with the economic realities, the administration says its reforms have started yielding fruit.
When we say things have improved, we all know that the most important improvement is what people feel. But before you get there, sometimes it reflects in the numbers first and then in people's pockets.
However, there are areas that some Nigerians say the government must work on.
We do have various abuses of human rights, including unlawful arrests, arbitrary and extrajudicial killings, police brutality, unlawful detentions, and violation of rights by security agencies.
If you use 1,000 naira to multiply 2 million crude production, 2 million barrels of crude productions per day, you are going to have a reduced amount of money. But if you use 1,500, you are increasing your expectation of the money by 50%. So we call that book dressing or window dressing. But in reality, what could have affected the plight of Nigerians directly is policies that will bring down exchange rate to about 1,000 or just a little above that.
And according to President Tinubu, the government will work for Nigerians.
You have given me the mandate to govern. Let me govern within the limit of my capacity. And I believe I have that capacity.
For many Nigerians, this year has had challenges, progress, and left a lot to remember. It has also made Nigerians look towards the coming year with great anticipation. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
In part two after the break, Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, opposes President Bola Tinubu's tax reform bills, describes it as a divisive policy that benefits only one section of the country. Please stay with us. Health Organization Tedros Ghebreyesus says he was at the Yemeni airport when it was hit by Israeli airstrikes. Bauchi State has expressed opposition to the federal government's tax reform bills, calling it a divisive policy that benefits only one section of the country. The governor stated this during the Christmas homage by the Bauchi State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria at the government house in Bauchi. He further states that he is not afraid to speak truth to power and urges the federal government to listen to the concerns of the citizens, warning that failing to do so could lead to anarchy. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliyu, reports.
The leadership of the Bauchi State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria is paying the traditional Christmas homage to Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State at the Government House Arena. Former Governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Ahmed Makarfi, is attending as a special guest. Cultural groups were on ground to entertain the guests, as well as prayers of gratitude, development, and good governance.
I stand to tell Your Excellency, we are with you. Wherever you go in politics, we are going to follow you. Because you have done us well by accepting us the way we are.
The governor did not hide his emotions as he bears his mind on some of the federal government's policies, especially the contentious tax reform bills.
And I must change. And that's why the presidency must listen to the tax reform. It is not a good policy for northern Nigeria, because we are not going to get money to pay you salaries, to do roads. They must listen.
Prior to this gathering, the leadership of the association had paid a courtesy visit to the governor at the council chamber.
And they lost their lives.
In honor of those who lost their lives in the recent stampedes, Governor Mohammed calls for a minute's silence.
May their soul rest in peace.
He urges them to pray for the nation's leaders.
It is not time for blame or blame game. As Christian and religious leaders, I urge you to go back to God, to pray for the country and pray for us.
Highlight of the event is the presentation of a commendation letter from the national leadership of the association, alongside other awards in recognition of the governor's leadership. Hajara Aliyu, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has called on the people of Rivers State not to relent in their support for President Bola Tinubu despite the hardship experienced in 2024. Mr. Wike made this call in Ahoda East local government area of the state, where he also clarified recent allegations of land grabbing in the FCT leveled against him by some residents of the nation's capital.
Officially billed as a Thanksgiving ceremony by the PDP here in Ochigba town, Ahoda East local government area of Rivers State. This function has in attendance the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, as well as other top politicians from across party lines. First to speak is a former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Chibudo Muji, who appreciates the FCT minister for being a good ambassador of the state in the president's cabinet.
We have got to give gratitude to God because our members here, many of them toiled on the instructions to bring forth a government to River State. They believe that by now is a time of rejoicing. But God knows best.
The former council chairman denies that they've endorsed the governor for 2027, while APC chieftain Tony Okocha promises to wrestle the state back from the governor in 2027.
I want to, on behalf of the fair people, set the record straight. Today is a gathering of politicians, predominantly PDP people, and some other parties who have also come to celebrate with us. Your Excellency, there was no time where politicians sat down and adopted anybody for governorship come 2027.
On behalf of us, APC, that pot of soup that we all cooked, that has now been stolen, God will help us to recover it in no time.
It's time for the FCT minister's address, and he uses the opportunity to call for support for President Bola Tinubu, as he also clears the air on the allegations of land grabbing leveled against him.
Let it be on record by the instrumentality of Mr. President, there is no governor in this state that attracted political appointment in this state than myself. God kept it. The instrumentality of Mr. President by his grace, by his love for us, he said, go and give me these names for political appointment. People say, land grabbing. Do you grab what you're in charge? Do you grab what you're in charge? I'm in charge of land in Abuja. How will I grab what I'm in charge? Those who are grabbing land, whom I'm dealing with, people think that because yesterday nobody was able to implement rules, it means that today nobody will be able to do it. It means that tomorrow nobody will do it. No, so
While the festive season is still in full swing, the politicians appear to be ready to continue hostilities in the new year. It remains to be seen how the governor responds to the latest salvo. Charles Okurum, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, World Bank drops loan fees to ease financial pressure on vulnerable countries. That's in business news. Please join us again. Welcome back. So let's now head to the nation's capital, where our Victoria Long John is standing by to give us the very latest from our Abuja studios. Still in the spirit of Christmas, Victoria, and a happy Boxing Day.
I wish you the same, Ayo. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command is asking residents to be wary of commercial vehicles with tinted glasses as part of measures to maintain security in the nation's capital. Now fielding questions from journalists after a security assessment tour of the nation's capital, the Commissioner of Police in charge of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Olatunji Disu, says there is a need for residents to be security conscious at all times. Mr. Disu, who expressed satisfaction with the security situation in Abuja, is equally asking residents to cooperate and collaborate with the police and other security agencies in order to ensure a safer Abuja.
Generally, my message to the residents of the Federal Capital Territory is to continue to assist the police because I've gotten wonderful cooperation from the residents of the Federal Capital Territory. Almost all the achievements so far gotten by the police was gotten through the cooperation of the people. So I want to thank them so much for that. And as Oliver Twist that we are soliciting for more support. The year is at the final stage, so to say. Looking forward to the new year 2025. We want better cooperation, continue to keep safe. Our parents have told us from the beginning, be wary of strangers. Consider everybody you see, you meet on social media as strangers. If you are meeting them for the first time, meet them in open places, in front of police station, or where there are a lot of people to see you and save you in case of any emergency. For one chance, be very careful of vehicles you are going to board. Do not board vehicles, commercial vehicles that are tinted. Do not board commercial vehicles that are tinted. We have for you to see about 25 vehicles in our headquarters now, recovered from operators of One Chance. That means about 25 different groups of One Chance operators have been arrested by the police, and the common denominator in the vehicles used by One Chance operators is that all their vehicles are tinted.
And the Household of God Church has joined the rest of the world to mark the Christmas Day celebration with a special service held at the church auditorium in Lagos. The event, which was packed with a lot of singing, dancing, drama presentation and preaching, was presided over by the resident pastor, Reverend Chris Okotie. In his message, Reverend Okotie urged Nigerians to be generous and show kindness to one another.
It's Christmas service here at the Household of God Church, Oregu, Lagos. The celebration and events of the birth of Christ appears to resonate quite well with household members. The choice of costume, reminiscent of relevant Bible characters, the atmosphere, mode of worship, and the song list, it's everything about the day. It's all about the love of Jesus, God's Son born in Bethlehem. Reverend Okotie's message describes the context of the birth of Christ as a reversed enactment of Adam, Eve, and God in the Garden of Eden.
Everything that we need to know about Christmas is found in that cattle shed. When Adam and his wife had this fig leaves on, that the Father, Jesus came there in his pre-incarnate manifestation, and he changed their outfits. Do you remember that? Swaddling clothes are strips. They're like bandage. So he had strips of clothes, because in the future he's going to have stripes. By his stripes will be healed.
The children were not left out in the celebration, as they had a great time singing along with Reverend Chris.
It is not possible to comprehend within our capacity as men. Our cerebral capacity cannot grasp the mystery of the Godhead when it comes to the incarnation. How that God transmuted from omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence to a palpable terrestrial entity known as the Lord Jesus, 100% man, 100% God in his hypostatic union. And that's the mystery of Christmas, that God made that kind of sacrifice for the sake of redeeming us and bringing us back unto himself. And I believe that if we follow that same pattern as Nigerians, and we are sacrificial towards each other and towards our nation, we can evolve into a great nation and take our place in the firmament of nations.
And from Household is a Merry Christmas wishes.
And that's it from Abuja. It's now back to Ayo for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you so much, Victoria. It was only yesterday many Christian faithful worldwide marked the birth of Christ with various celebrations. How did you celebrate? Well, I can tell you that in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, the atmosphere is still reeling with excitement from partygoers, both old and young, to spread the festive cheer.
Beautiful faces, and of course, good music to set the groove alive. This is Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, a city unlocking the Christmas season with lots of fun activities. At the Maracana Stadium in Ajegunle, Nigerian footballer Wilfred Ndidi brings Christmas celebrations to children in a bid to spread love and give back to the community.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. I feel like, it's a festive period and these kids deserve to have something like this. I feel like it's actually like something for them to have to remember, like when there's something going on in the community, these memories stick. So this is just what we're trying to do here.
We speak to some young party goer and you can hear the excitement in their voices.
Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm here having fun. I love as I'm here, and I love Christmas because Christmas is all about like having fun and making it happy.
We make a stop at Dr. Oluyomi Abayomi Recreational Park in Oregon, Ikeja. Children and adults here have varieties of activities to pick from. For some adults here, it doesn't matter what their bank account looks like. They just want to have a good time with friends and family.
We are here to celebrate despite all that is happening in this country, despite the economic achieve, we still just have to, when there is life, there is hope. We bless God for this wonderful day.
First, we are grateful to God that we are alive, and so it feels very good celebrating. And then, more importantly, celebrating with friends, loved ones. It's been a great one. And the reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ, celebrating the birth of our Savior. And that's quite important. It brings joy to the world. It brings gladness to our hearts. And we are quite grateful for this.
As Lagos residents continue to celebrate the season in various grand style, they're hoping that the new year 2025 comes with a lot of ease and tranquility.
As part of measures to give back to the society, a non-governmental organization, the Uchama and Igwe Foundation, has provided some basic amenities, medical screening and food items to the people of Akano Ohafia community in the Ohafia local government area of Abia State. Now, speaking during the event tagged Feed, Empower and Educate at the premises of the Akano Civic Center, the coordinator of the foundation, Dr. Oluchi Sunibe, said the exercise is targeted at uplifting the women and the vulnerable people in that area.
The intervention program Feed, Empower and Educate is part of the Ochama and Igwe Foundation efforts towards cushioning the effect of the economic challenges and putting smiles on the faces of the people of Akano Ohafia community in Ohafia local government area of Abia State. Different groups, especially the elderly, gathered to benefit from the exercise. The coordinator of the Ochama and Igwe Foundation, Dr. Oluchi Sunibe, sets the tone for the event.
Ochama and Igwe Foundation extended significant palliative support to the people of Akano, Ohafia community and the neighboring community. Palliatives such as monetary assistance, they have bags of rice, we have granite oil, we have wrappers, we have bags of salt, we have significant palliative to the people, scholarship, you can name it, to the people of Akano and neighboring community, and this has helped to alleviate the community in terms of the economic hardship and the likes of it.
Joining the event via Zoom, the founder of the Uchamma Igwe Foundation, Mr. Chika Igwe, and his wife, Mrs. Uchamma Igwe, says the initiative, especially the medical outreach, is a way to give to the society and touch lives positively.
The Uchamma Igwe Foundation has touched a lot of lives. The rural women, the widows, the less privileged. When God gives, you look for a way to give back to the community. That's all we have just done and will continue to do. With God on our side.
We are here to feed, empower, and educate, touching life positively. We are international, both abroad and in Nigeria, in Africa. So we are touching the people. When God blesses you, you be a blessing to others.
Sure.
Shortly after the distribution of food items, the representative of the foundation proceeds to Ndulu compound, Akano Ohafia, for the official commissioning of a newly constructed borehole that will provide members of the community with a reliable source of clean water.
If you can see from the background, at the back, the villagers have started coming to make use of it. So it has solved a very large problem that is facing the community, which is water.
These people give me this thing. I'm very happy. God will bless them.
Uchamma Igwe Foundation says it will continue to exemplify community-driven development with its vision deeply rooted in uplifting lives and fostering sustainable growth.
What's the latest in the world of business? Well, let's find out with Will Ibom. Will?
Thank you, Ayotunde. We have a lot of presents to unbox in the world of business. Now, in a bid to make borrowing more affordable for vulnerable countries, the World Bank says it has scrapped several loan fees, aligning with its goal to tackle urgent global issues such as climate change, inequality, and economic instability. In a statement shared on its official X handle, the Bretton Woods institution highlights the removal of prepayment premium on International Bank for Reconstruction and Development (IBRD) loans, a grace period for commitment fees on undisbursed balances, and extended low-cost pricing for small vulnerable states. The World Bank explains that this seeks to make it easier for countries to borrow and to pay back their loans more easily by removing some fees on IBRD loans. Now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has launched a new Production Monitoring Command Center (PMCC) to boost oil and gas production. This cutting-edge initiative, led by NNPC Upstream Investment Management Services, aims to enhance operational efficiency and increase output. According to Mr. Jide Pratt, Chief Operating Officer, Iona, and Country Manager, Trade Grid, the PMCC platform is a step in the right direction, but not a silver bullet to solve all production issues. He was a guest on Business Morning.
Custody transfer. So in oil and gas, what is that? It's basically trying to say that if I move 10 liters of A from point A, I need to be sure I have 10 liters of what you call A in point B. What the NNPC is trying to do now, which I believe they should have done a while back, is that using technology, so you have things like ATGs, automatic tank gauges, you have sensors, you have flow meters. However, what they have done is that we have gone on the back of what you call Internet of Things, basically. And you're able to, at a click of a button, see what moves from, be it shallow waters, be it onshore, be it wherever it is where the crude oil comes from. It's going to come from that location and it's going to go to a terminal. Now, from the terminal, obviously, it could either go to exports or go into refineries. But bottom line, what they're trying to do is that the custody or the quantity that moves from point A to point B is now seen on what you call a monitoring dashboard, which is the PMCC they have just launched.
Now, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has earmarked 35 million naira in its 2025 budget proposal for capacity building in cybersecurity and data center management. This comes in response to a recent cyber attack on December the 18th, which compromised its website and raised concerns about the Bureau's digital infrastructure. The NBS announced the breach via its official X account, warning the public to disregard information on the platform. As the country's primary provider of statistical data, the NBS's vulnerability highlights the critical need to strengthen its cybersecurity measures. Alongside cybersecurity training, the Bureau has outlined several initiatives aimed at modernizing its operations and enhancing service delivery. Industry reports indicate that Nigeria faces escalating cyber threats, with organizations experiencing an average of 3,759 attacks weekly, further emphasizing the urgency of the NBS's proposed measures. Now, while most major markets, including Nigeria, are still on Christmas and Boxing Day holidays, some markets like the SEMDEX in Africa, Japan and China in Asia, and let's not forget the U.S. have resumed trading activities. Here are their closing numbers.
Our international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Airstrikes have been reported in 2 cities in Yemen. Witnesses and governing Houthi rebels said an airport and military base were targeted in the capital Sana'a, while a power station in the western port city of Hudaydah was also hit. Houthi TV blamed the strikes on Israel, which has not commented on the reports. Casualties were not clear from initial reports. In recent days, Israel has warned it was preparing a major attack on the Houthis after the group fired drones and missiles at Israel. Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, have been attacking Israel since the first months of the Gaza war, which began in October 2023. The Russian government has cautioned against promoting hypotheses about the cause of the crash of a Russian-bound passenger plane that killed 38 people in Kazakhstan. Some aviation experts suggest that the Azerbaijan Airlines plane had been hit by air defense systems over the Russian Republic of Chechnya, and pro-government media in Azerbaijan quote officials as saying a Russian missile was responsible. Here, footage showing what appears to be bullet holes in the wreckage. Those investigating initially think it was struck by a Russian Panzer S air defense system, and its communications were paralyzed by electronic warfare systems on the approach into Grozny. Here, footage showing the moment the flight crashed near the Kazakh city of Aktau. Before it went down, the plane was diverted across the Caspian Sea from its destination in Chechnya to western Kazakhstan. President Aliyev said a special commission had been set up to investigate causes and all the details of the plane crash. At least 3 people have died in a bus crash in Norway, state media is reporting. The accident happened at around 12:30 local time in Hadsel district on the country's northwestern coast. The bus came off the road and ended up partially in the Asvatnet Lake, that's according to the public broadcaster NRK. It's thought to have been carrying 58 people at the time of the crash. Syria's new rebel-led authorities say supporters of the ousted President Bashar al-Assad have killed 14 Interior Ministry troops in an ambush in the west of the country. They say 10 other troops were wounded in the fighting on Tuesday near the Mediterranean port of Tartus, a stronghold of Assad's minority Muslim sect. The clashes with pro-Assad loyalists are the first direct challenge to the authority of Syria's de facto leader, Ahmad al-Sharaa. Assad's presidency fell to rebel forces led by al-Shara's Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham faction just over 2 weeks ago. A Palestinian TV channel says 5 of its journalists have been killed in an Israeli strike in the central Gaza Strip. They were in a Quds Today van parked outside Al-Auda hospital, where the wife of one of the journalists was about to give birth in the central Nuseirat refugee camp. The channel posted a video of what it says was the burning vehicle with press signage on the back doors. Finnish police are investigating whether a Russian ship was involved in the sabotage of an electricity cable running between Finland and Estonia. Authorities say they believe the anchor of the Eagle S, a tanker registered with the Cook Islands, may have damaged the S-Link 2 cable. The vessel is thought to be part of Russia's Shadow Fleet, which is made up of ships that carry embargoed Russian oil products. It is the latest in a series of incidents in recent years in which underwater cables in the Baltic region have been either damaged or severed completely. And amid rising concerns for cyclist safety in Mexico, a group of parents in Mexico City have taken an inspiring initiative to promote cycling as a safe and viable mode of transportation for children. Known as the Bike Bus, the initiative began 2 years ago, intending to safely escort children using bicycles to school. In 2022, there were 104 cyclist fatalities in Mexico. The Bike Bus operates a monthly route of approximately 3.5 kilometers, challenging yet rewarding for young cyclists. The group, which started with around 15 to 20 participants, has grown to include up to 110 people, with at least half being children of various ages riding their own bikes. Themed rides coincide with school events, adding a festive element to the journey, creating a joyful and safe cycling experience for the children.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon, and welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles Team B standing head coach Daniel Ogunbodede says the big focus for his team ahead of Saturday's African Nations Championship qualifying game against the Black Galaxies of Ghana is to attain victory that will spring Nigeria to the finals of the competition early next year. Both sides battled to a goalless draw in Accra, and the final qualifying fixture is poised ahead of the decider of the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital. Ghana has dominated the African Nations Championship between both teams, with the Eagles winning only one of 6 previous clashes. In the English Premier League, Fulham scored twice in the final 10 minutes to end Chelsea's 12-game unbeaten run in all competitions with a stunning 2-1 win at Stamford Bridge. Substitute Harry Wilson and Rodrigo Muniz shocked the Blues to secure Fulham's first away win at their West London rivals since 1979. The defeat leaves Chelsea in second place and are closely trailed by Nottingham Forest in third. That's sports. I'm Kelly. It's back to you today.
And the main news again. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, today said there is no plan to establish foreign military base in Nigeria, either now or in the future. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. From all of us here, you have a good night.